Sony has done something incredibly smart that I hope Xbox also does, but you might be able to buy a PlayStation 5 a little bit easier in the near future. So the long and the short of it is what Sony is apparently doing is they're going to be investing in designing a new chip or utilizing a new chip, meaning they're going to rebuild the internal components of the PlayStation 5 so that they're able to make more PlayStation 5s. Now, this probably won't hit until 2022. That is the target. But let's talk a little bit about why these chips are so hard to get. So, this is from GameSpot, and I'm just going to read the story verbatim. So, according to IDC's gaming research director, Lewis Ward, low inventory of microprocessors and Intel's slower transition to the 10 nanometer processes for semiconductors, though both new consoles use AMD chips, which were also affected, played a role in supply issues more generally in the tech industry. And for Microsoft and Sony, the targets they set in place for console production were thrown into a semi-chaotic state by the pandemic. That's from GameSpot and their story. So basically what I've heard, and I don't remember where I read this, so I apologize for not being able to quote the source, but basically everybody is fighting to get time on the machines that make the 10 nanometer processor chips, and no one, like everybody's fighting over it. And when you're fighting with car manufacturers, they just have more money than console manufacturers. Yes, even Microsoft in some cases, apparently, because they're still having a problem with console shortages, and both companies have pointed that out in their earnings calls recently. So basically, what else have we learned about this new 6 nanometer chip? So here's what DigiTimes claims. They claim that Taiwanese juggernaut TSMC will be manufacturing a new semi-customized 6 nanometer chip for the system starting in 2022, which would replace the existing 7 nanometer chip used in there right now. It's unlikely this will result in a change to the external appearance of the PS5, although there may be additional benefits such as more economic power draw. That's from Push Square. And continuing on, I've collected sources here from a few people, so bear with me as I go through it. As noted by Canton Games analyst Dr. Circantoto, Digitime supply chain sources say the redesigned PS5 will come with a new semi-customized 6 nanometer CPU from AMD. It's likely the redesign is purely components focused. It's likely the redesign is purely components focused and won't feature significant external changes. So largely, this is actually a really, really smart move, and I have to give Sony a lot of credit here, because what they've done is they've said, okay, one chip is bottlenecking our entire production line, our entire process, and they've already done their due diligence to look at solutions to that problem. So they're going to begin designing a new nanometer chip. So why is this so important to them? Like, they're already selling out like crazy. Well, their supply is not meeting demand, right? And one of the most important things to Sony right now is that they're able to sell these consoles. Here's what Sony CFO Hiroki Toki said during the earnings call. I hope I said his name correctly. I apologize if I didn't. As I said earlier, we're aiming for more sales volume than the PS4 during year 2, but can we drastically increase the supply? No, that's not likely, he said. The shortage of semiconductors is one factor, but there are other factors that will impact on the production volume. So at present, we'd like to aim at beating second year sales of 14.8 million, which was the second year of PS4. As specifically about the shortage of semiconductors, which is affecting all consumer electronics industries from smartphones to automobiles, Totoki suggested Sony had means with which it could cope. For example, he said, we could find maybe a secondary source, or by changing the design, we could cope, the exec said. So there is one, like, that's pretty cut and dry, right? They're looking into just making a new chip to deal with this problem, one that is more readily available. And it seems like it might have minor power consumption bonuses. It's really, really smart stuff. And like, you got to tip your hat when you tip your hat to somebody who's doing something smart. This is smart. And it's a big move. Like, there's no way that this is going to be easy. They have to reestablish partnerships. They got to redesign a whole system with this chipset in place. They need to do testing and make sure that it functions appropriately. And Jim Ryan had a quote that he added to this whole thing. He says, "It will get better every month throughout 2021, Ryan said. The pace of the improvement in the supply chain will gather throughout the course of the year. So by the time we get to the second half of 2021, you're going to be seeing really decent numbers indeed." That's according to Jim Ryan, and that's about 2021. But we know the semiconductor thing is happening in 2022. So my question sort of is, I have to wonder if they're going to go through all of this, and then at the end of it, is it really going to be necessary if Jim Ryan is predicting that they're already going to be seeing good supply by the end of 2021? This really reminds me of the PS3 era, personally. I remember how hard it was to get the 60 gigabyte version of that console. I was able to get one. I was very, very happy. Back then, you would go into your GameStop and you would pre-order your console the second that they were announced and hope that you got one, and then you would just go pick it up. They would do midnight launches and everything, and largely that has changed. Now everything's online. You got the scalper problem to deal with, stealing consoles left and right. And I hope Xbox does the same thing or is already working at a solution to their sales challenge, because they're both facing the same challenge, right? They both need to move more consoles. People still can't buy the Series X. The Series S is a little more readily available. Like, if I look in my area, granted I am in San Francisco, but I can usually find an Xbox Series S in stock somewhere, but the X is the coveted machine that seems to be just as difficult to get as a PlayStation 5. And with PlayStation 5s, if a Series X comes in stock, it's gone. If a PlayStation 5 comes in stock, it is gone. So regardless of what ends up happening here, it seems like a good move on their part. I hope Xbox can figure out the same strategy and a solution that is going to benefit players everywhere. Because look, I don't care what console you game on. Most of the negative stuff that I talk about on this channel, it's about like the super upper management people and just decisions that I don't agree with, that I feel are sort of gross, right? But when you're talking about gaming, hell yeah, man, game wherever the hell you want. I don't care. And it would be just great if more people could get PlayStation 5s, and it would be great if more people could get Xbox Series X in their house so that we can all play together and just have a good time. Anyway, hey, thanks for watching this video. There's hope in the future if you are on the hunt for a console, because I gotta bet both companies are looking into this problem closely. If you like these sort of videos where I sort of ramble about things going on in the industry late at night, well, thank you for watching. You could consider subscribing also. I post a video. I try and post one every single day at 7 a.m. So subscribe, hit that bell. If you would like to become a member to support this channel, memberships are turned on. It's the thing YouTube offers. So I clicked the buttons and I turned it on. Thank you to everybody who has become a member. And you know what? Thank you for watching no matter what is going on. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I'm going to see you for the next one. Have a good one. Destin out. See you soon. Bye, everybody.